Hi everybody, it's good to have you back on my channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly consider subscribing. So in this video, I want to talk about the number one thing that can get you a residency spot in the USA. So before I go into that, I want to take 1 minute to introduce myself for those of you who are new to this channel. So my name is Dr. Aplo. I am a PGY1, that is first year resident physician in the USA as at the time I'm making this video. And I am originally from Ghana, and I am an IMG international medical graduate, meaning I schooled outside the USA and then I came to the US to write the USMLE steps. I've been successful on step 1, step 2, and step 3 all in one attempt, and currently I am doing my residency program in internal medicine in Maryland. So let me go straight into this topic. A lot of people have been asking me, like, what did you do too much? You know, what was that number one thing? And I think it's time to talk about it. So there are several things that influence your process of matching. A lot goes into it. First off, you need to get good scores. Gone are the days that we used to spend a lot of time on step 1 to get a good score, and now step 1 is pass or fail. So a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on it. But step 2 has become the mainstay right now, and more emphasis is on step 2. A very good score on step 2 is good. A very good score on step 3 as well is good. Most people apply for residency without a step 3 score, and so they have to take it whilst they are in the program. But yeah, for my personal experience, what I think is that most of the programs, even though they look at your scores, they look at your US clinical experience, they look at your general career or professional experience, the most important thing to me is your interview. The interview. Why? Because say like a lot of people, over 5,000 people have applied to one program, and the program has selected about say 500 to interview them. Now all of you are placed on the same pedestal now, because you've all been successful in your exam. At this point, it doesn't matter the score that anybody gets again. Now come and tell us why we should choose you over all the other applicants. So that is how most of the programs see it. Even though your scores might have your scores might have some little bit like they might give you some little chance, or they might give you like some little impression. But I interviewed with some programs where probably only the program coordinator or the program director might will be the only people who might know your score that you got. But the faculties, the attendings, they do not know your scores. Some of them do not know it. They are not privy to your scores before they interview you. So they vote for you solely based on your interview. So if your interview goes well, if they think that you impress them, then they are going to vote for you. And most programs have 6 people voting. So if you win the majority of the 6, then I think if you get like 4 out of 6, then it means that their program is going to rank you based on merit, right? There might be other programs also who are just looking for things like the person should be an American grad, you know, AMG, and some programs are also more IMG friendly. So those factors might go in your favor. But the most important thing that you have to know is that these programs have selected all of you, and if you've made it to the interview level, the most important thing is your interview, how your interview goes, your interview skills, you know, how you make it interactive. Are you able to take control of the interview? One advice I tell people is that if you have a lot of interviews, say you have about 10 interviews, then there's no need like going to pay anybody to help you prep for the interviews, because by the time you get to about the fifth interview, you are going to you'll get used to it, and you know what questions you should ask and how you should respond to certain questions. But yeah, now if you made it to the interview stage successfully, so I have made a video. You can go through my YouTube channel where I put some questions that made my interview like interesting. So I put those questions in a video, and I also put some questions that the program directors are likely to ask you. So you can go through those questions and prep well for those questions. I I would say that if you are able to take charge of your interview, and you direct the interview such that you are able to like you bring out the topics that might drive the interview, not to say you are going to be a talkative person. You want to demonstrate the ability that you can listen, let the PD or anyone who is interviewing you, let them finish talking before you speak. Do not cut them short, and have that listening ability. And before you come in, like anytime you want to talk, if there is a chance that you can re-emphasize like whatever they say, try to do that. That means that you heard what they said, and then you listened carefully. So try to get your interview skills up there. It's very important. You should be able to convince them why they should choose you over the others. Remember, do not downplay anybody. Do not behave like you are the best. Do not talk against anybody. Say, if they ask you why should we choose you over others, do not go and say, hey, I'm better than the others. Don't present, just state your case, why you think you should be chosen, why you think you are unique, and then you should be accepted in that program. Okay. Another thing during the interviews that helped me is, if you think that say some people will tell you, talk about your research, let them know that you are doing research and that you have this number of publications. If you think that your strength, even though you have publications, but you don't have a good strength in research work, I will not advise you to direct your interviews towards research. Don't go talking about your research, because you are not going to be able to elaborate very well on the research work that you have done. But if you think you can talk about it very well and state clearly your role that you played, then that might be vital to the program, and they might invite you. Also, remember that your research works are important, but they are not the sole thing that they look at. They might be important, but if whatever you are going to do, say I am going to do a fellowship, right? Then my research should be a research that is, or my publication should be that fellowship. They should be based on that fellowship. Say if I'm going to do, say, nephrology, then if I have some publications in nephrology already, then it's good, right? So you can bring some of those things up. But if I know that I am going to be a primary care doctor, then I have no point going to talk about research, because primary care, they don't care whether you do research or not, And so these are some of the things. Now, there are other interviewing skills that you should that are also important, like your appearance. Not necessarily that you have to be in like in a how do we call it, like a blazer with your tie and all that. Like, I don't think it's very important. Personally, like there was a time that I had closed from work. I was in my scrubs and I started interviewing. Those are generally accepted, because you are working, you can interview. I interviewed from my car, and that shows that you were able to go out of your busy schedule and still make it to that interview. So it shows them that, hey, this guy is really serious. And the first program that I matched into was a pre-match in New York, and that interview, I did it on the road. I was driving on the highway, and I pulled over, and then I was sitting in my car in my scrub, and I did the interview. Then after the interview, I was accepted the next day. They told me like, hey, you've pretty much give us your response and all that. So dressing does not really matter. You can get a good lightning. I think lightning is very important. For that is you want them to see you clearly in the during the interview. So lightning is important. Dressing, I mean, it's up to you to decide, but just appear decent, very important. And if you're a female, you don't want to put on all those things in your face. Just look decent, yeah. And what else will I say? After the interview, some programs don't want you to be sending a lot of emails to say thank you and all that. If the program accept, do it. If they said no, do not do it. So these are some of the points that I will say about the interview. If you have further questions, you can put it down in the comment. I'll respond. And if you have any thing that you think helped during your interview as well, you can put it down. If you have additions or there's anything that you think can be done differently from what I just said, kindly put it down in the comment. Thanks for watching this video, and again, kindly consider subscribing and share this video with other people. I will see you again in the next video. Bye.